Hey there, I'm Anthony Gauna, and in this video I want to share with you a Todoist filter that I'm going to create for myself. So this isn't anything that I can necessarily vouch for, but it's a filter that I thought up this morning in the shower, and I wanted to sit down and create it for myself. But as I was sitting here, I was like, okay, I've got the apartment to myself, let me just record a video anyway. Because maybe the idea behind it might be something that could help you. One of the things that I've noticed about myself with using a to-do list is that I need to break things down as much as possible. And although, like, if most people were to look at my to-do list, they would probably think that it's really overkill and it's not minimalist and all that. However, adding these complexities to it really helps me to be able to break things down in many different ways that makes sense to my brain. There are some days where one thing works for me, but then another day that one thing no longer works for me and I need to shift. And so I create all these different filters for myself to be able to quickly on the spot be able to shift my focus and tackle things in a way that works for my brain in that particular moment, in that day, whatever. So one of the things that I wanted to do was make this filter. I don't have a good name for it right now. I'm calling it MIT, which in my head is most important tasks, plural, not one. But anyway, I was thinking of different names, and the only thing that I could really decide on that would make sense for me right now is MIT. So that's what I'm calling it. I think it's a stupid name, but it's whatever. The idea for this came from the fact that I just finished up a busy photography season, both with weddings and family sessions. And I was trying to knock out as much editing and all that before Thanksgiving hit. I did pretty well, but I still have some editing to kind of finish up. I also ran a Black Friday sale, and I did have some people buy photo albums, so I need to also sit down and do those things. And then I also had a few things just kind of here and there that I wrote down and all that. Anyway, Thanksgiving happened, so I had that day off. And then I took a few days off afterwards to spend some time with my wife because we didn't have any date nights for the past few months. And so we decided we wanted to take some time off to be able to do those things. We did, do a little work here and there. So like right now I am doing a little work. She's doing a little work somewhere else. And so it was just a way for us to kind of be intentional. However, it did mean that I was, not going to be doing as many things as I probably should have been. I don't know if I should say that, but, and by I shouldn't have said that, I mean like I shouldn't talk like that to myself. All this to say, I wanted to make a filter for myself to be able to know that I can go to this filter when I feel like, all right, I need to work on priority things and I need to make sure that these things happen and nothing falls through the cracks. One thing about me and how I like to structure my to-do list or work or however is based on either priorities or deadlines. That's the only way that works for me for the most part. And I do time block and all that, but for the most part, everything is about trying to meet deadlines and make sure highest priority things get done. It just motivates me. It's probably the ADHD, but that's how I work. However, within Todoist, you've got the priority levels that you can use, which is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, and priority 4. And they have different colors for them. And you could just do it like that, but for me, that's not enough. And so I have to categorize things and all that. I also add priorities, I'll call them colors, priority colors, to repeating tasks and things like that. And so if I were to create a filter based on just priorities, it would include all these different things that maybe don't necessarily factor in as what I'm now calling a MIT. And so this is going to allow me to make sure that I can go in and add a label called MIT to tasks, and be able to pull up this filter at any point and just focus in on those things that need to get done. Because maybe I've got some things on my today list that need to get done, but maybe it's not very important and they can be pushed off until a different day. But there might be something that just needs to get pushed up until today. I hope this is all making sense. I didn't plan this out, and so I know my brain kind of goes a little fast, and I try and slow myself down to be able to try and explain things in videos. Anyway, all that to say, I want to sit down and make this list, and that way I can tackle those things this coming week when I'm sitting down to do work. So I've already made a filter and a label, but I'll go to my filters right here. This is the label that I just made. I don't have anything there. I try and figure out what the structure is of where I put my labels in Todoist, mainly because when I like to sort my filters or Today View by labels, everything is in the correct order. And so I really try and be strategic about where I place that label in my labels list. Even though I never come to this actual list, it's more so of when I want to sort, I want all those labels to be able to be in that same structure. So there's that label. And then I also did the same thing as I created a filter and I placed it where I wanted it to be, and then I added it to my favorites so that it goes there. And another great thing about making all these labels, because I know it looks overkill, but you can always go in and unfavorite, and so maybe that filter isn't serving you right now, but maybe later on it's like, oh, I need to do this but I need to go back to using MITs or something, or maybe I don't need to focus on my bottleneck tasks. I can just remove those and they won't be in my favorites. But when you do need it, you just favorite it and it's always there. So the filter that I made is super simple. I just do MIT. The reason I don't just favorite the labels is honestly, I just don't like the way it looks. And it doesn't allow me to place it where I want it to be. So like right now it's at the top. I don't want it at the top. I do want a structure as well. That's one thing that I'm really big on for myself, is making sure things are structured in a way that makes sense to me. So that's pretty much it. Now, one thing I will say is I think bottleneck tasks are something that is kind of similar to what I'm about to do, but for me, there's a big differentiator, I think that's the right word, where bottleneck tasks are like things that are kind of like holding me up a little bit, but they're not necessarily things that need to be tackled right away. They're things that I just need to make sure that get done, when I've got some time. These are the next upcoming priority items. So that's one thing that I was kind of like mentioning, is I kind of work in very different, multi-level priorities. So right now I'm going to focus in on my MIT filter and work on those tasks. Those are top priority. Once those are done, I can move back to my bottleneck tasks, and then those are priorities. But within each filter, tasks have their own priority. And so that's what I mean by I really try and narrow things down as much as possible. And so using labels and filters really helps me do that. So I just wanted to mention that, yeah, I do got bottleneck tasks, and you could probably say that MIT tasks are kind of similar, but in my head they aren't. And so one thing that I wanted to do was go through and start adding that label to different tasks. So I've got my due today filter. These are things that I need that I maybe don't need to do today, but they need to get done. And so I've got this. This is definitely an MIT. I need to put air in my tires. The weather's been changing and all that. Another thing that I wanted to kind of think about is for the repeating stuff that I have for myself, a lot of it is like planning stuff. I want to add the MIT label to those as well. Now, granted, this filter that I'm going to be using is only for when it's like, oh my God, like I need to just focus in, like something has happened in life. I need to focus in on these tasks. And so when I do use that filter again, you know, I will still have repeating items that I still consider MITs that are in there. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So this one I need to add in. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select them. I need to add this. I need to add this. I don't necessarily need to because that would be this one as well. Designing the album. That's one of those orders that came through. That's pretty much it from my today view to add the MIT label. So I'm just going to do that, select it, and those are added in there. I also have some editing to do. I'm going to actually go to my photo editing page, and what I'm going to do is I need to do this. So this is going to be MIT. I'm going to be sharing something in the future about like new labels that I'm going to do for myself, as far as mostly like my YouTube stuff. I kind of have an idea of how I want to use additional labels to kind of sort through my YouTube stuff and like video process and all that. So as I'm starting to record more videos and plan, you know, them out, I've got videos in many different stages now, and so I'm gonna start creating labels and stuff to be able to sort those out. And I'm also using it alongside Notion as well, and so it's starting to get a little crazy. But once I kind of get that figured out, I'll share that with y'all if you're interested. Okay, so I also need to do this. I also need to do that. From there, right, and anyway, I'm gonna sit down and figure this out. I don't want to like bore you with me going through and finding all the things that I need to add, but mainly I just wanted to make this video sharing the idea that I had and the reasons why I wanted to make this, kind of the way I view it as different from bottleneck tasks and all that. So that way, so right here we've got the MIT tasks. These are multi-level priorities. So MIT filter is my big priority item right now. And then everything listed within that filter has its own priority level. And that way I knock through everything based on the priority of those things. I hope that makes sense. I know I feel like I'm not great at explaining these like things, you know, because in my brain it all makes sense. In my brain everything's just like scattered everywhere, and I do my best to kind of like zone in and gather everything like a little goblin or something and kind of share it with y'all. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video for y'all, share this quick little idea. I've got a few others coming out as well, but I know y'all have been really digging the Todoist stuff. So let me know in the comments if this is something that interests you, if you've got other questions. If you've got a favorite filter of yours that you use, I'm always interested. Filters or labels. I would love to hear those, and maybe it's something else that others would, you know, resonate with as well. I am going to be creating a Todoist course sometime next year. I'm still in the brainstorming process. It's going to be everything from getting started with Todoist, all the basic stuff, all the way to like all these crazy like complex things that I'm doing with filters and all that. It's going to be a fully featured Todoist course, meaning if you're very brand new to using Todoist, you'll be able to learn all the basics and get started and use it in a basic way. Or if you're already familiar with Todoist, it's going to provide you with additional stuff as well to be able to do more advanced things like these filters and labels and using other little things. Like I'm gonna show y'all, I've got another video coming out on how to create custom keyboard shortcuts on Mac to be able to just quickly navigate to your favorites section. It's gonna blow your mind, I swear. Yeah, so all this is gonna be included in a course in the future. Obviously I need to brainstorm first and then record all the videos. Everything's gonna be in small video chunks, so that way it's easy to kind of like go through and sift through. So if that is something you are interested in, there's a link in the description to sign up for my email newsletter, so that way I can notify you when I'm going to release it. I'm also most likely gonna like email people who signed up and kind of see if I can pick their brain a little bit on as to what things might be important to them to be able to be included, kind of gain an understanding about all that. And also, I want to create a little community for all of us as well, where we can get together monthly and deep dive on a certain topic. We can also do co-working sessions together. Overall, just have a place to hang out and get to know each other, share tips and tricks with each other, stay accountable, all that. That has not been started just yet, but if you sign up in the email newsletter, I will let you know when that is available as well. And same thing, I'm probably gonna reach out in email if you've got any advice or things that you want in that as well. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. Hope you're doing well. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye, y'all.